All right. Happy Labor Day, everyone. Definitely, it's a thank you to all the people that have served. This really shouldn't be one of those days we thank them. It really should be every day that we thank our service members that give us these freedoms. And it was a happy Labor Day for the Mets for the most part. But then in the ninth inning, things got a little hairy. A couple base runners on. Leadoff walk. Anytime you do that, you're asking for trouble, especially with the middle of the Nationals order coming up and clutch Andrew Stevenson pinch hitting. I mean, this guy's got a lot of big hits in this series already. So then all of a sudden, the Nationals end up walking off. I mean, you had a weakly hit ground ball. Like I said, a couple of walks. It wasn't like it was a bomb home run or a bunch of big line drives. It was very Mets-like, if I could say. It's one of those ones where like it happened so quick too, where the Mets had this lead, and I think it felt pretty good. Lugo had some trouble in the eighth inning; he got out of it. But then the ninth inning, I mean, all of a sudden it happened really, really quick. I mean, you almost had a review to get the run off the board. I mean, did the guy touch home plate? Imagine that, not touching home plate. That would have been really wild. But can't get that lucky because of the Mets. They don't usually get the lucky bounces. So we'll start with Mets fan. What are your thoughts just on the way the game ended and the emotional roller coaster of a Mets game? Where like you feel good, and all of a sudden you're like, oh crap, what happened?
To be honest, for Diaz, I got nothing. He looked like shit. I don't know what to say. The guy couldn't locate his slider. He was all over the place. And James McCann just said in a post-game interview that his stuff looked good. So then you really know that it was all over the place. So yeah, I got nothing to say. But just go through your usual ritual of this guy sucks. He shouldn't be our closer. He's terrible, blah, blah, blah. Just go through your 24 hours of he sucks, and he'll just go back to being the closer, and he'll be fine. I mean, this happens every time. Come on now. This is the constant. This is the constant. It goes over and over and over again. Let's be real for a second. It never changes. Come on. Whenever he blows a save, everyone goes berserk because it hurts. It stings, but I mean, everyone goes berserk. That's what happens.
I mean, Diaz did blow another save in this series, but I mean, Seth Lugo blew a save as well, and Lugo almost blew the game in the eighth inning. So it seemed like in this series, with a 5-game series, you've had no days off. I think all these pitchers are running out there with tired arms. The way the Mets pushed Trevor Williams, the way they pushed Tylor Megill, it felt like whoever you're bringing in was going to give up runs. I mean, luckily Brad Hand gave you 1, 2, 3 inning, but Trevor May, you couldn't really go to him again. Aaron Loop is exhausted. So the Mets were really limited on options. But if this does become a trend, once the Mets are a little more rested, if Diaz does go back to blowing more games, and if, let's say, Trevor May's pitching really well, or if Lugo or Brad Hand's pitching really well, even Familia, I mean, Familia had a really good outing today. So I think it's going to come down now. We talk so much about with offense, play the hot hand, play the hot hand. If it's BR, if it's Dom, whoever, play the hot hand. You might have to do that with the closer, at least just to finish out the season, because they put themselves in a point now where you're at 500. It's September 6th. You don't have that many games left. You're 4 out in the division, a little more than 4 out in the wild card. So you got to do whatever it takes to just get as many wins as you can and then see what happens in the postseason. So I'm probably going to get demonetized now, but here we go. We got Tony Metro with the half towel action. So, Tony, like we said, this was a rough one. So, I mean, what do you even say at a game like that? I mean, what is there left to say? It's just like it's a Mets thing.
I will not demonetize you, Frank. I promise to be on my best behavior. My towel is up.
Keep towel on.
Yeah. I don't know how you can call this guy elite. I'm sorry, Mets fan. I love you. You're the smartest baseball mind that I've met. Like, as far as like analytics, how can you call this guy elite when he can't even?
Tony, your audio. Oh no, your audio had cut out for a little bit.
Okay, we're good now.
Yeah. Yep.
Sorry, gonna call. Every time this guy comes in a big situation, 1-run lead on the road, he cannot handle the pressure. He is not elite. Like, this guy, he just can't do it. He cannot get it done. 4-pitch walk to Josh Bell to begin the inning. Josh Bell, who hits 250. I mean, like, I don't know what to say anymore. Like, this guy cannot handle the pressure of being a shutdown closer, an elite closer. He might be an elite reliever, but he cannot be that ninth inning guy who gets those final 3 outs for your team. He can't.
Yeah, I mean, I think before we completely write off Diaz, I think we won't really know if he's the guy until if the Mets ever get in the playoffs and Diaz is the closer, because I think that's going to be do or die time. Because when you're in the playoffs, you really get to see if you have a true closer. And we saw that with Jerry's Familia, where in the World Series, I mean, Familia was not able to get it done with their runners on base. And I think what concerns me about Edwin Diaz is that his stuff is so good that it's a blessing and a curse. There are some days where the movement is great, the guys can't hit it, but then there's days like today where the stuff, it leads to a lot of walks, and he basically just shoots himself in the foot. The Nationals didn't really beat Edwin Diaz. Edwin Diaz kind of beat himself when you're walking 2 batters and you get a weak ground ball. So I mean, and that's tough to do. You can't really have a closer where you say, what version of this guy are we getting? Are we getting good Edwin Diaz? Or are we getting bad Edwin Diaz? I'm curious about a Puerto Rican like Andrew. What do you think? I mean, could Diaz be a closer on a playoff team, or, I mean, what do they do?
And this is why I wanted a sec. I didn't need Kimbrel, but I wanted another big arm in that bullpen because again, converts 8 in a row. Now he's blown 2 in a row. Yes. Do I still think he could be a capable closer? Yes. I'm not jumping off the mountain of, oh, this guy sucks. Could have been this. Could have been that. He's here. He's stuck here. He ain't going anywhere. So would I have liked them to add insurance? So like I said, before Mets Weekly, if it wasn't Kimbrel, it was someone else. I would have. You always should have insurance because you never know. But if this is the reason, and just like in 2019, if he's the reason he keeps blowing these games when there's 20-something games left, you cannot blow games now. You've been decent to above average all year. Do not turn into a pumpkin when we need you. I don't think he can be a World Series closer. I think if he's one of your best options in the back half of a bullpen, it's possible. But I don't think he can be the guy, like the number one guy. If he's like a 1A, 1B, 1C kind of guy, kind of like how the Royals did with Holland, Davis, Herrera, I think he can be in that kind of situation. But I don't think he's the guy that he's the alpha dog in a bullpen.
That's the definition of elite when it comes to a bullpen. To be able to get the outs, the most important outs later in the game. Diaz cannot do that. He's proven it over 2 years. He can get saves against the Marlins and the Orioles and the Tigers or whoever. Can't do it when we need it the most. In a situation like today, or against the Phillies, or against the Braves, he can't do it. He does not have it in his DNA, and that is how you define a closer. I know there's no statistic about clutch or about what the opponent is but that is how you define a closer. Mariano Rivera made his name off of it. 600 something saves just by being able to go out there, no matter who he was facing, throw the same pitch and get them out. Diaz can't do that.
Method, what do you think? I mean, we know you do love Edwin Diaz, but I mean, would you feel confident in a playoff scenario with him, or, I mean, what do you think?
I haven't seen it, so I don't even know what to say. Do I trust him to go out there in a 1-run game in the 9th? Yes, I do. And even after what I see today, I mean, it's definitely a different Edwin Diaz from 2019. I mean, that's been a given. The ball is not being elevated into the seats every single time. I guess the Carter Keyboom single was a lucky single, but I can't really say anything. He just looked like shit today. I don't know what to say. But it's not like I'm going to just stop completely defending him. I mean, sometimes you just got to admit, I mean, he was not good. I mean, he just was not good today. And, that's what happens. The fact that it came in this scenario, and that's what sucks even worse. I mean, I don't know. it sucks to think that maybe he's not someone who can be the person who can be that guy to lock it down the stretch. But I mean, we go through this motion every single time that he blows a save. I mean, this is a constant overreaction of this guy needs to be sent to China. We do this every single time.
No,
I mean,
look,
let's be real for a second.
Mets fan, like, look, I understand what you're saying. If this was May and he blew a save today, I might be overreacting.
Mm-hmm.
We have 25 games left. We're 3
Mm-hmm.
games behind. Now 4 games.
Four.
Right. So there's no more room for error. This is everybody has put into their position where they should be the most comfortable. And if Edwin Diaz is a top 3 reliever, aka a closer, as he was the AL save leader when we traded for him, he should be capable of closing out a game against the Nationals, who traded away all of their top players at the trade deadline. And like it goes, I'll also say the offense should have scored more than just 3 runs today. They did not have a good day today. They only scored 3 runs. But Edwin Diaz, as a closer, should be able to close out a 1-run game against a decimated Nationals offense. And he couldn't. So there's 25 games left. He blew the game. We're now 4 games back instead of 3. I don't know what else to say. We're running out of time for excuses. That's it.
I think what it comes down to is that you absolutely, under any circumstances, you cannot walk Alcides Escobar. I mean, you just cannot do that. With Juan Soto, thank God Juan Soto didn't kill the Mets this series at all, really, besides the 1 home run. I mean, they really kept Soto under wraps. So that could have been bad right there. Then you had Josh Bell, walked him. But I just think that what concerns me about Diaz is that if he needs a strike, I'm not sure if he could get the strike. Like, he might get it. He just might not. Like, I just don't think he's that kind of pitcher where he has that pinpoint accuracy where I need to hit a spot, boom, let me hit that spot, let me just get a strike on the board. I don't even know if he is that guy, because once Diaz loses, if he doesn't have the command, he just doesn't have it, and you're kind of stuck with him. Where, I mean, even though, like I said, Lugo wasn't great today either, but I think I have a better chance of, if Lugo needed a strike, I think he could get a little better, because his stuff, it doesn't move as much, so it's not as wild. So, I mean, you have a better chance of it being a strike, but it just comes down to it. It's like, well, then who do you make the closer? I mean, is it Aaron Loop? Is it Trevor May? Is it Brad Hand? I mean, what do the Mets do on a daily basis? What do you think, Mets fan?
I mean, it's so hard to say, because, yes, there's like this whole instance of what Edwin Diaz are you going to get? And there's 2 different types of Diaz. There's the guy that can't locate and the guy that can. And he just, I mean, today didn't look good, and he looked terrible. Do I think he's a different Diaz than 2019? Yes, I do think he's a different Diaz. But it just came down to the point where he needed to get the out, and he didn't get it. So, and it's just like Brad Hand today, where, he had a 1-2-3 inning, but I mean, the dude got hit hard the whole time, but he got the outs. That was basically all that matters. You come down to this stretch, he needs to get the outs. He didn't get it, and that's his fault. So do I think in the best scenario to put Diaz in the 9th? Yes. Continue to put him in the closer role, of course. But again, like I said, stop beating the dead horse. If it starts to screw you up even more, and it keeps putting you deep and deep into that hole, then you might have to make a change.
And then, what do you got, Andrew?
Well, hopefully this guy can get over COVID. Noah Syndergaard will be your closer in about a week and a half.
I mean, that would really be asking a lot out of Noah. I mean, you want to talk about
another 2-pitch pitcher you want to put out there? Oh god.
Yeah. I mean, Noah's about throwing a guy into the fire. I mean, he hasn't pitched. It would be almost 2 years now. We don't know what his velo is. He doesn't have the slider. He still hasn't gone back on the rehab assignment, right?
I think he's still dealing with the COVID. I don't think he's gotten over that yet.
I thought they said he was vaccinated, but I mean, still, it could take a while for some guys. So, I mean, I wouldn't really anticipate Noah being that guy. I really don't really know what they could do here because, like I said, Lugo hasn't looked great. I mean, he hasn't looked amazing. It's definitely not the best version of Lugo either. He was better in August too. So Trevor May, he pitched pretty good this series. I don't know. I mean, maybe you do go Trevor May for the time being. You really just have to roll with the hot hand. And it really stinks that the Mets have to go into the Miami series, and the bullpen is still tired. I mean, they're not going to get another off day until maybe Thursday, hopefully, before the Yankees series. I think that might be the next off day. So if that is, then they could finally get this bullpen rested. But I think it is really unfortunate for the Mets that this whole series with the Nationals, it was a 5-game series because they had to make up the 3 that they lost in the beginning of the year. So this never should have been a 5-game series in the first place. So now the Mets have to roll with this tired bullpen throughout the rest of the Miami series. And they got to fly to Miami, got to face that good starting pitching. That, you know what? It gives the Mets a lot of trouble. And losing Brandon Nimmo is a really, really big loss. I mean, you could just tell this guy was swinging a red-hot bat. The VR-Nimmo 1-2 combo was looking tremendous. It was, you talk about all the weighted runs. You had so many weighted runs with the kind of offense these guys are generating, and then you let Alonso and you let Baez and Conforto, other than today, do their thing, and you were scoring a lot of runs. So it really is unfortunate. You won the series, but with a team as bad as Washington, you did want to win at least 4. I mean, if you could win all 5, that'd be great, but it really was tough because it felt like the Mets were going to win this game. It really, really did. Once Lugo got the 8th, I was like, all right, at least they could get 4 out of 5, but that obviously did not happen. And you know what? This weekend series against the Yankees, it's going to be a huge series for both teams because, I mean, the Yankees lost 8-0 to Toronto today with Jameson Taillon on the mound. So both of these teams, if the Yankees want to stay where they are in the wild card race and the Mets want to get into the race, that's going to be such a big series at Citi Field. It's going to be exciting for sure.
To be fair, yeah, it sucks losing Nimmo, but they scored 13 runs yesterday. Okay? You're not going to score 13 runs every game. I understand that. 3 runs is probably not enough in this modern day offensive renaissance. You should probably get about 5 to win a game and feel comfortable. To have a 1-run lead going into the 9th, you cannot say anything else about Diaz. I don't want to rag on him, but it's tough to lose this game today. They should have won the game today. Not having Nimmo sucks, but they did score 3 and they had the lead going into the 9th. They couldn't close it out. So it's a terrible loss all around.
Yeah, I mean, and the 2 culprits, I mean, Jonathan VR was swinging an insanely hot bat this whole series. Today he goes hitless. And then Michael Conforto, he had 3 groundouts, one of them being maybe 2 of them being a double play. So, and he was batting in the 3 spot. I guess a pitcher here has really good career success in Patrick Corbin, but they're saying on the broadcast for whatever reason, Conforto still hasn't gotten it going against lefties. So, I mean, if he wants to get a good contract from somebody, he needs to do that. And Dom Smith came back, he pinch hit, nothing. JD Davis got a pretty nice hit coming off the bench.
And how is he not starting against Corbin?
JD Davis, well, defensively, what are you going to do? Again, VR was the hottest hitter on the team. JD cannot play left field. I mean, he wasn't good there to begin with, and he'd be even worse now because he doesn't have the reps. So they really had no spot to put JD Davis. If there is a DH next year, he's a really good candidate for that designated hitter for sure, even though JD has not been his best self either. I mean, I definitely believe that JD could be much better. He's missing way too many pitches over the middle, just whiffing on him. Which, I mean, could it be the hand? Maybe. I mean, everybody's probably got some little nagging injuries, so it's very unfortunate. You're shaking your head, Best Friend. Do you see something on Twitter? Did Rojas say something that we don't know?
Or McCann say something stupid?
No, I'm just watching Mets Twitter.
Listen, Diaz has gotten rid of so many times. I mean, you can't keep getting rid of the guy you already got rid of. So
I mean, I've DFA'd him a few times. I've been upset. I mean, it's just I'm just watching Mets Twitter completely unfold. It's entertaining, to be honest. They go through this shit every single time where it's just where they start they start basically cursing out Diaz. That's the first wave. And then the second wave is DFAing him. That's the second one, which falls in that Hayden category, even sometimes Tony. And then And then you have the analytical people back it up in a few hours later. So we're not there yet. But
give
like,
it a couple
it's just like it's fun. It's whatever.
I've never said
happened.
DFA Diaz. Never.
Oh, you
But-
can't DFA him.
No, but he's not elite. I mean,
You
come
trade
on,
him for a guy who's got a 500 OPS.
Like, I'm sorry, I've never. We grew up in different generations. Like, my closers used to actually be able to close out a 1-run lead. These closers are coddled and they're babies. They can't close out more than a 4-run lead because they wouldn't get their participation trophy. So I don't know, just different times.
06 Billy Wagner gets this game done. I mean, for
Damn
sure.
right.
I mean, Billy Wagner, he would lock this one down. But I think it's gonna be interesting for the Mets to see how the season closes. And before we ask who's gonna be a closer next year, I think we gotta let the rest of this year play out before we really have that conversation. And I think Trevor Williams. Listen, the Mets were even lucky to have a lead in this game where Trevor Williams giving up 12 base runners and only 2 runs. Going up against this brutal Nationals team that's making outs at third base, making outs at home plate. They don't know what the heck they're doing.
Not good fundy.
Yeah,
Not
not
good
good fundies at all. So the Mets were lucky to even in this scenario in the first.
This man, Trevor Williams, I think invented grit. Okay, this guy completely like he got teed off the entire game and somehow found a way to give up like what was it, 2 runs? I mean, what? Just
listen
an
to
upgraded
this
Gazelman.
line: 5 innings, 10 hits, 2 runs, 2 walks, 3 strikeouts, 93 pitches, 150 ERA as a Met.
Hey, that's a good ERA. That's good ERA.
Good ERA. I mean, all the base runners you want.
I mean,
I suppose. Unbelievable. It
that's
really
crazy.
is crazy. And Brad Hand, he's got the 0 ERA with the Mets. So
Hey, there you go.
Sandy Ball never fails. Brad Hand's been pretty good. And it sucks because the Mets had a lot of hits today, too. I mean, Alonso had the big home run, Baez multi-a-game, Pilar multi-a-game, McNeil had a nice hit, and McCann had a blooper. Trevor Williams had a hit. So, I mean, Lindor had a nice double. He had all these hits and still only 3 runs. So, you don't want this leaving runners on base thing to come back and bite the Mets again and again. Like, I was kind of hoping we were over that, but obviously not. And Patrick Corbin's line, it was very similar to Trevor Williams. I mean, he went 7 innings, but still he gave up 11 hits. So, I mean, both of these pitchers, they had so many guys on the bases that it was really a wild game. This whole series was crazy, though. I mean, you had the extra inning game on Friday. You had an extra inning game on Saturday. You had the Mets was a nail biter until the 9th inning. All of a sudden, it's a blowout in the 9th inning. Yeah. Oh, my God.
Here's my takeaway. I'm so done with playing Walgreens. I've had enough. I'm so done playing this team. I'm tired of seeing our team being on Nationals Twitter because they're annoying. And it's like I'm just so I don't want to play Walgreens anymore. Like I'm so tired of playing this fucking pharmacy that somehow finds a way to hit us hard all the time. I'm so tired of playing them.
And now we go to Pharmacy South.
They may be completely dismantled right now, but like they're playing for absolutely nothing, and that's what makes them so much of a goated franchise against the Mets right now.
And what's really frustrating? You bring that point up. The second game of the doubleheader, when Luis Rojas decides to sit Francisco Lindor after having a huge home run, Javi Baez, who's been doing very well since coming off the injured list. And you notice how the Nationals played all their guys. The Mets, who are playing for a playoff race, sit their guys, but the Nationals playing for nothing, play all their guys. So what team is showing the sense of urgency there? And the Mets end up losing that game, another 1-run game. So I mean, what is the point of that? Like the Nationals, do they even want to tank? I don't know. They play too hard to tank. They got a lot of really tough guys. Lance Thomas, I mean, all of a sudden. Another one the Cardinals let slip away, right, Andrew? I mean, all of a sudden, this guy, he's a Met killer. He's a great player. And then you got, Yadiel Hernandez and Luis Garcia. I mean, Alcides Escobar. Also, Carter Kieboom's good now. This guy has been a bust ever since he came up. Now he's good. Andrew Stevenson is Mr. Clutch. So,
Mr. Clutch.
I mean, it's like, oh, my God. And, of course, they have Juan Soto and Josh Bell in the middle of things. So they just become a very annoying team to play. And luckily, we didn't have to see Ryan Zimmerman today because if Andrew Stevenson doesn't end the game, Ryan Zimmerman will. Don't worry. But that's the way they are. And now they got to face the Marlins, who, again, like the Nationals, have a really bad record, but they are going to be playing their hearts out. They took a couple games from the Phillies, or the Braves, whoever the heck they were playing recently. So
Yeah,
and we know
Philadelphia.
the Marlins just play the Mets tough, especially in September. So no,
Yep.
these games are not going to be a gimme by any means. So they have to win them though, because it's going to get tougher after the Yankees. Once you face the Brewers again, you're going to face the Braves again. So it's not going to be easy at all. So it's going to be very. And you got to face the Red Sox in Boston. That's not going to be fun. So they got it tough for sure.
Is Miami going to sign Cody Ross to come out of retirement to just keep pissing us off?
Oh God! I mean, listen, the
Michael
Braves signed
Franco.
Michael Franco. Yeah, the Braves signed
Yeah,
Michael
it's-
Franco. So they're saving him for that last game of the
Last-
series in
Exactly.
Atlanta. Michael Franco makes his debut.
And you know what?
there we go.
And you know what's going to happen. Diaz is going to be 3 games in, game 162. Diaz with 2 men on. Maikel Franco, it's a game-winning 3-run homer. They win the division. You know how the baseball gods love us.
Yeah.
Okay,
That's
so
a
now
very real possibility.
So now we're in the part of the process where people are looking up and doxing Diaz and Luis Rojas's address. Okay, that's where we're at.
I mean, what are we doing?
It's the process. You just got to go through
So I can mail autographs to his house? That's right.
You got
That's how I see it. Like,
Andrew, how's the stock on that going right now?
It's just like it's always. This is how it always. Diaz has been. He comes in a 1-run game. He's closed it out 9 out of 10 times, and then when he does it, he doesn't do it. It's like. He can't do it. He can't do it. He's terrible. He's not elite. He's awful. You defenders are terrible. I mean, come on, man. It happens every time. Come on.
He's a fake Puerto Rican. He's from Florida. I mean, he's from Puerto Rico.
And it's all because of this PTSD you've gone through in 2019. I mean, like, come on. I understand. Like, yeah, he didn't get the job done. He wasn't good today, but like. Aren't we getting tired of this whole routine? He's going to be the closer. He's still the closer. He's still going to be out there in the 9th inning. Like are we done doing this over and over and over again? I mean, hopefully it doesn't get to the point where we have to sign Craig Kimbrell again, but I mean, it's enough. I've had enough of listening to this anymore. That's why I just close it. That's why I close Twitter and I close it when he blows a save, because it's the same thing that happens every time. And like I hear people is like when he blows a save, it's the same thing. It's the same thing. Well, it's the same thing when you react to it as well. It's like, come on, people. Unbelievable.
And at least the guy we traded him
Get
for.
over yourself.
500
Get over
OPS.
yourself.
So, I mean.
That's what matters. The OPS and slugging percentage, that we know. And Diaz definitely has improved from 2019. There's no question about it. And like we said, today was a bad save. And I just don't know. I think there's going to be interesting. Whenever the Mets do get in the postseason and he is closing, I think that's when we'll finally really know. Like, is he going to be our closer for a long time, or do we have to look elsewhere? And, closer is such a thing where it really could vary from year to year. You have some relievers have good years, some relievers have bad years.
Yeah.
So it is one of those things that they're going to have to figure out whoever is going to be in charge of this team very soon.
It's all like, at the end of the day, out of all of the 6 blown saves he's had, 6, 5, I don't know.
I think it's 6.
Yeah, now
Is it 6? Out of all of them, that was the worst I've ever seen him. Out of all of them, that was the worst I've ever seen him.
Okay.
Walking batters, not locating anything.
Not
He
getting
just
called.
looked terrible. Not getting calls. I mean, he just looked terrible. That was the worst Diaz I've ever seen all year. I'm going to tell you right now. That might be me just completely overreacting because it's just recency bias. I mean, he's been able to close down games before. He's been able to be a dominant closer. When he doesn't do it, everyone's brain is going to explode. That's what happens. I mean, come on. I mean, it's the same routine. I mean, come on.
He had a game against Pittsburgh at home, and he had another game this series he blew. At least he got out of those games with it still tied. This one he couldn't even get out.
There was no reason why he should even enter the 9th inning in that game, to be honest, because he's already cooked. Didn't he come in like the last 2 days too? I mean, I don't even know how he got in.
The Friday game?
Pittsburgh.
The Pittsburgh one, he was working 2 innings that one, and they still had, I don't know, I think it was like Drew Smith or somebody afterwards. But I mean, it's
we're just waiting for the next 24 hours where everybody's DFA'd him, and we'll just go back to our usual thing. I mean, this happens every single time.
I hope you're not referring to Kenley Jansen. I really hope you're not.
Dominic Closer is the guy on the Dodgers.
Blake Trinan is really good.
Blake Trinan.
Blake Trinan, he's nasty.
But he's not closer, so I mean, I hope you're not Frank Kelly Diaz because the Dodgers. He's like.
I mean,
some
Josh
days,
Hader.
Yeah,
Okay.
Josh Hader.
I
Yeah.
mean,
but
it's
that's
just
like very few guys you're talking about. There are very few closers.
This
that you
is
feel like their money in the bank. There's
this
very
is the advantage that people that don't like Diaz, that this is their advantage. This is what happens. He's their scapegoat. And when he does do well, they're quiet. When he doesn't, they're louder than before. I mean, that's just how it is. We go through this every single time. I'm going to admit right now, he was terrible today. He was awful. He looked terrible. But at the end of the day, he's still the guy that's going to go out there in the ninth inning. So, and that is the right decision to put him out there in the ninth inning, whether people agree with that or not.
Because
I mean, I don't.
Most of the time, he has gotten it done, so he has earned that right to still be the closer.
Yes.
I mean, that's just how it is.
17
it's
blows.
not homers, and he's like, besides the Soto just being Juan Soto, everything has been weak ass singles or just infield hits that just get through.
Soto bomb 110 XBA. This is what happens to this guy. He just gets thrown into the fire. This is what happens.
And you also
9 times out of 10 you can 9 times out of 10 you can defend him when he blows a save because he gets fucking pwned by the baseball gods. This time, terrible, absolutely terrible.
I mean, the Juan Soto one, that was like you said, Juan Soto going opposite field, like it's just Juan Soto. He's like one of the there's only a guys who like on one hand that could do what Juan Soto does. So I mean, that one
in Met uniform in a couple of years. He'll look really good in a Met uniform in a few years.
I mean, they haven't extended him yet, but
and I gotta call
again. Like if what Tony said, if this was the same scenario that happened in May, it wouldn't be as hurtful. But the fact that it happened in September, and it cost us. I mean, and that's the thing. Like, whenever Diaz were to make a mistake, that's on him. I mean, that's on him. And I've had tons of instances this year where I can't defend him because I don't defend him because he screwed up. Like, that's the thing. I mean, a blown save is not good. How did it happen? Who knows? Because Diaz is Diaz. That's just baseball unlike him. But baseball definitely treated him the right way today. It was 100% his fault.
I have a question. Let's go off the Edwin Diaz topic for a little bit. I want to talk a little bit about Jonathan VR because, I mean, he had a huge weekend. He was swinging a red-hot bat, a bunch of hits. And we talk so much about expiring free agents, whether that's Conforto or Stroman or Syndergaard or Baez. And for Jonathan VR, he's going to be expiring free agents. So as it stands right now, would you bring back Jonathan VR? And what kind of deal would you be willing? How much is like the maximum money you'd be willing to offer him, Andrew?
1+1 contract year wise, money wise, he's making what, $3 million this year. Maybe give him a little bit of raise, double to 6 to 7. The problem is, will he want to come back in this role? Because if he's playing well, maybe there's a team like Baltimore who he played before.
Yeah.
Cincinnati still needs a shortstop. I would think they're going Trevor Story or someone bigger. But knowing how Cincinnati is with free agency, maybe they strike out. Maybe this is a cheaper option that he can be a starter.
They almost had VR in the offseason. They were really close to getting him before the Mets did. And Jonathan India has been a very nice,
very good player.
For them, but VR, he's a guy that he's utility. He can move around. So if you want to play second and stay, you want to move Moustakas over. You don't know what they're doing with Castellanos quite yet. Eugenio Suarez struggled so much. He can move around a little bit as well. Joey Vaughn, how much longer he's going to play, we'll see. So the Reds definitely could move some guys around if they really had to, if they want to fit VR in. But I think he's been a guy that has been really underrated for this season. OPS over 800. That's
second in homers.
I think if you have an OPS over 800, you're a little above average offensive player. That's my general rule of thumb, I would say, because not everybody could do it. The Dodgers, like their whole team has OPS over 800, but the Mets, not so much. What do you think, Mets fan? Analytically and everything, I know he makes a lot of boneheaded moves on the base paths, but he's been pretty durable. He's had a lot of hits. He's done a lot for this team all in all.
I wish we could insert the clip you said from the Phillies game. Jonathan VR is an elite base runner. I would need that clip found again. Jesus Christ.
I have all season I've seen his rating of BSR, like base running run scale, go from like 5.5. It's now 1.3. he is the dumbest man alive on the base pass. But I mean, I would not go all out to get this guy. If you just ask him, hey, you want to come back? Sign a 1-year deal, $8 million 1 year. Like it's like that. Like, but if he's like, nah, I want a little bit more than that. Okay, say goodbye. It's not like one of those things where it's like, oh, we have to get this guy back because Brandon Nimmo's your leadoff hitter. Brandon Nimmo's the guy who's going to be your leadoff hitter in the future.
Yeah.
So I'm not too like, it all depends on the price. I don't think he's going to think of himself as a big market free agent, especially with the amount of infielders that are going on the market in free agency.
And utility type guys.
And utility type guys. So
all right, now everyone's saying the Mets are going to sign Bryant. All right, so let me get this straight. So
Correa, shut up, everyone.
Bryant has done all these things to help this team, and they're going to sign Chris Bryant. All right. Well,
yeah.
That's Twitter. That's YouTube.
As far as I'm concerned, if he wants $10 million a year, you just switch his contract that he's gotten this year with James McCann, and you're settled.
Yeah, give him McCann some money. That'd be pretty good.
If they gave Aaron Loop his contract and they gave James McCann the $3 million contract, this would have been the best offseason ever.
Oh God.
But the Angels were serious bidders, so the Mets
exactly.
Oh man,
they wanted some McChicken too. So
and we got him out. We got him, bro. We beat him out.
I'm waiting. He's gonna hit he's gonna hit the game-winning homer to send us to the playoffs. You know how this is gonna go. You know it's gonna be McChickens everywhere.
I've already established how this is gonna go. Okay. Last series, last 3 games against the Braves. Mets will be a game and a half out. They'll win the first 2 games, and they'll just get blown out the last game of the season. Tom Glavine style. Sorry for opening.
Oh, come on.
Oh wait. Oh, and then what do we do with Conforto and Syndergaard? We have unlimited money. That's right.
Well, I mean, the Dodgers are playing with unlimited money. Why can't we?
Why not?
Well,
just saying.
Well, then why is Javi Baez making league min?
Oh, that's just you got to save it for later. Got to save it for later before you get the big one.
Who knows what Cohen's going to do? I think it's weird. I think if the Mets were to make the playoffs, Cohen wouldn't spend a crazy amount of money. But if they don't, I feel like he's going to go all in.
Yeah, like I said on the Mets Weekly, San Diego 2013, where they just fucking sign everybody. Excuse my language, but that's how it is. Baez.
I love how we're getting both now. That is just great.
Hey, he replaces Conforto in right field. I mean, we're good.
Yeah, Chris Bryant goes to right field. I don't know. I mean, I just wonder if some team, I don't know who, but if some team were to offer Conforto a lot of money, would you outbid for him? I don't know. That'd be a really interesting decision for the Mets. Over Baez.
Someone gives him 200. Someone offers him 200 million, 250, and he comes back.
I say, why is Jerry? Well, not Jerry DePoto. Who's the Angels GM? Why do you keep overpaying people? That's definitely an Angels move. They just got 200 million. Michael Conforto. Why not? We have Trout, Ohtani, Odell. Throw more money in there.
They've overpaid a lot of guys, and the Josh Hamilton, Pujols.
So y'all would like to see? Y'all want to see Michael Conforto's revenge tour somewhere else?
If this so-called revenge tour happens, have it be in the American League.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
So-called revenge tour. The Rhino revenge tour, that's coming soon, but I don't know about a Michael Conforto revenge tour.
I still think that because Sandy Alston drafted Michael Conforto and looks at Sandy's back in charge for right now.
For now,
and Conforto used to be the captain, which looks like he isn't really the captain anymore. No one really says. I still think they're going to try their absolute best to keep him. And I do think he will take the qualifying offer. It makes, like I've said many times, it makes sense for both sides. He has a chance to make more money from other teams even if he took the qualifying offer.
I mean,
out a lot too.
I mean, what I'm expecting is if this team were to miss the playoffs, right after the last game of the season, hours later, the entire front office is cleared out.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm expecting. Because, I mean, I don't know if everybody remembers this, but the day
you can only do one qualifying offer.
Yeah, you can only do one qualifying. I think Syndergaard's probably going to get the Clevenger deal, to be honest.
I hope.
But,
I thought it was. Yeah, I like that idea.
I like, because I don't know if everybody remembers this. The day that Cohen was approved, Brody Van Wagenen gone. Everyone else
Everyone was gone.
everyone was gone.
Yeah.
Everyone except Luis Rojas, because I mean,
Because
had to
Right.
keep
They were
that
just focused on
asset.
the front office. You know,
But,
they were trying to be fair because the whole 60-game season crap. They were trying to be fair.
I mean, for front office moves, they're quick. I mean, this is what we've seen under the Cohen administration. They are quick. Jared Porter, while Cohen is sleeping, sends dick pics to people. Wakes up, you're fired. Bye. Puts Scott on leave because obviously you can't really do anything because of investigation. He's probably
I still
gone.
don't get what there is to investigate. I don't get that. Like you got caught drunk driving. You're Zach Scott. That's it. Like there shouldn't be an investigation.
When you're working with police for like, that's just how it is. I mean,
It's always sticky. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, so I mean, it's gonna be interesting though. If they do, I think they will get rid of Zach Scott, and then Luis Ross is going to, and then like we said, they have all these expiring free agents that it's gonna make for a lot of content for us. That's for sure. I mean, we're gonna.
Hey, there you go, guys. Good luck.
Yeah.
Bring everyone back. Just bring everyone back. Bring everyone back. Give them all a blank check.
Only the Puerto Ricans to come back. Everybody else.
I don't need something huge in free agency. The only like huge thing I want is an upgrade at third base. That's about it. And then Carlos Correa.
Oh, you're on the Correa.
Oh yeah.
But I think
if not, you'll just go with this guy named Chris Bryant, who I heard is okay.
Or Brett.
No, everybody wants Bryant. But I think if they get Correa, I think Baez stays. That's just me. I think if Correa comes, I think they want to try to do all three, which I don't know. The Baez looks pretty good lately. He had a really good weekend. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. Land Conforto and bring in Castellanos.
DH. Make him the DH. And then trade JD and Dom for Buxton to play center. Move him to the left.
I don't know. And I think what they need to do with MLB, they got to sign the DH early in the offseason. They have to, that's one of the first things they do. Is there going to be a DH, yes or no, when we're doing this offseason? Because that's going to that's what they got to do with JD and Dom.
The ruling on the universal DH is going to come right before spring training. You have
the whole CBA, so that's not going to be like, oh, World Series next week. CBA is done. Like who knows?
It's going to be dragged out. So
if there's not a lockout, which I said for weeks,
and if not, you always have Jose Martinez, who you still have control over. So like, if you can be here late.
As in the post-game press conference, he says, "I love the fans."
I love the fans. Hello. Holding his kid like, I love you guys. He's a kid.
You know, it was an interesting extension. How about the Atlanta Braves giving Charlie Morton
$20 million,
1 year, $20 million with a team option of another $20 million? I mean, I like Charlie Morton as much as the next guy, but $20 million at age 38, that I would not do. I mean, because the Braves are lucky that Albies and Acuna are making next to nothing on AAV. So they're not paying the crazy money for Lindor and DeGrom. So
no.
Listen, if Baez helps them win games, I don't really care.
Hey, we are
everyone on Mets Weekly last week. I just don't think he's the good fit. I don't think he's a good fit. I don't think it's good.
Don't tell me that, bitch. I'm for sure. I was the answer.
I know you were all on the Puerto Rican.
I'm talking about long term.
Exactly.
Long term. It's just gonna be a weird fit. Like they're gonna have to move. A lot of things have to move around.
I'll tell you why people don't like the fit of Baez, because he's not a conservative baseball player like most of these guys on this fucking team. All right, he's aggressive. He brings flair, and he's got swag. Keep him.
He's got swag.
Even when he's striking out, he will have swag.
And he sells tickets for females. So more money in the Cohen pockets. It's all about the businessman, the business side of the game. Think about it. You got Girls will love it. You got Lindor and Baez up the middle, bro. How many season tickets are you gonna get just to girls to go to games? It's all about the business mentality.
Anyway, it's going to be interesting, but
We picked
now
that
they
part.
face the Marlins. So,
Well, man, you don't want me on the same network as Andy Martino. There'll be an arrest report in the first 24 hours.
Damn, I didn't think you'd last an hour, but okay, 24.
it's
Well, you got to
he
do
has
the
a couple bad
investigation.
swings, but then all the other times he's hitting home runs. He hits 6 straight hits. Oh, big deal.
Crazy
He swings at the bad
slides.
pitches though. There we go. Get Andrew on. That's a good number.
Oh, ESPN, damn, you demoting me? Jesus.
Put you with Stephen A.
Oh, God.
That's really fun. All right, and put me on TNT. Everyone gets to go.
I'll get Frank on TNT with the guy.
Andrew goes to ESPN, and then I'll go to TNT. Then I get to call the games. No, I don't want to be. I want to be on TNT.
You want the pre-show.
Put me next to Burke. I want to work with Kevin Burke. Kick A-Rod out and let me.
Fags. Get some intelligence actually on that panel.
And what's he hitting with the Mets?
Oh, God damn it. Get rid of him. Get rid of him. No,
And Pete Alonso's hitting 260. You want to get rid of him too? I mean, 13 points.
I can't get rid of him, man.
Oh, man.
No, I think Ross is gone for sure. So you don't.
Yeah, I think he will be with the Long Island Ducks pretty soon.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, that's a good spot for him. Listen, they fixed Rich Hill. Maybe they could fix Ross, right?
So show some emotion.
Yeah, it's a good development.
I want him.
Emotion.
No. I want him to go be the bench coach for Wally Backman in that college league.
You're gonna get rid of me? Please don't. I'd like to live a little longer. But anyway. So before I die, I guess that'll do it now that there have been threats on my life. So thank you everybody for tuning in. Again, happy Labor Day. If you want to give the stream a little like before you go, Andrew or Mets fan, do you have anything in the works that you want to promote or closing thoughts?
I'll be streaming this upcoming week. I'll be streaming Wednesday and Friday. Wednesday for Player of the Month of August and Team Affinity Team for Season 4 for on Friday.
Oh, you're getting rid of Baez. Don't get rid of Baez. I like him. You want to get rid of Stroman too. So I mean,
I think he's talking about me.
Oh no,
I've been
DFA'd
and canceled multiple times.
100%.
No, I think he's getting rid of Baez because he swings at bad pitches. So you got to get rid of him.
I've been DFA'd and canceled multiple times. So I don't care.
We like Jared Eichhoff. He keep coming back.
He just keeps coming back.
I don't think we're seeing Jared Eichhoff anymore. Now Trevor Williams is here. At least he solved that for us.
No, he's going to be the closer. He's going to be our closing option.
Here's everybody in that rotation is going to get hurt for the Braves series, and we're going to end up having Hakeem Bostic and Jared Eichhoff start. And then, of course, the last game will be we'll get Geraldo or whatever his name is.
Ariel
Geraldo. Oh my God.
Oh. All right. Well, thank you for tuning in. Thanks for watching. And let's go, Mets. Please beat the Marlins.
Please.